Welcome to another episode. Today's question is, what is the real story behind 108 snails covering Buddha's head? So the question is, what is the story behind 108 snails covering Buddha's head? This is a story or maybe an incident which happened in Buddha's life, Gautam Buddha's life. He was one day walking alone and he was in a deep thought. So it was a sunny day. He was going to some place and he was in deep thought. So there was a tree on the way and he thought he would sit there and think about whatever he was thinking at that time. He sat below the tree in the shade and continued his thought or meditation. And hours passed. It was the morning this happened and hours passed. Then he sat there below the tree. The shade has gone. By the time it was noon, the shade has completely gone from the side of the tree where he sat. But he became so immersed in thought that he was unaware of what was happening or the hot sun over his head. He was totally immersed in his thought or meditation. And a snail was moving by. There was a lot of grass around and a snail was moving by. It saw Buddha sitting there silently for hours and the sun was so hot and it was directly on his head. And the head was becoming hot. So snail thought soon his head will become so hard that it will distract him from his meditation or thoughts. So snails are moist creatures, so it thought it could save his head. So it slowly climbed on his back, went up to the head and covered his portion of the head as far as it could, so that he can be cool at that place. So other snails which saw this also thought, why don't we help? So they also climbed one by one onto his head. So it was totally 108 snails which covered completely his head so that he could be saved from the hot sun and keep his head moist and cool. But the 108 snails were staying there for too long on his head and it was painful for them. They died in the process. So these 108 snails were honored as martyrs and are shown in the many statues of Buddha to remind us of their sacrifice. So the snail with their nutritious body who saw the plight of Buddha's head wanted to save him from the harsh sun's rays and sacrificed their lives. These 108 snails were declared as martyrs, and to show their importance, their sacrifice, statues are shown with these 108 snails. This is the story behind the 108 snails covering Buddha's head. So today we had a good story. This is we will end this episode. Stay with me for another episode. Subscribe to my channel. Share my video. Thank you.